Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I just lost access to Facebook, and I was trying to get that sorted. Please, I would need to know if you can see me. If you have joined me on Facebook and you can see me, please let me know. I had lost access to Facebook. I want to be sure that I have Facebook right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. Today is Monday and it is 1 p.m. Okay, 2 minutes after 1. It is 1 p.m. that time where we come and talk about parenting issues, especially as it affects our preteens and young children. Yes, the Skill Up Show is a show where we bring you parenting tips for raising your children. I mean, the issues that we have in parenting are universal. Whether you live in America, Nigeria, London, or in my village, the the issues, the challenges that we have are universal, and it's important that we're sharing tips, we're sharing experiences, okay, and we are sharing knowledge on how we can help each other walk this very important and not so easy journey of parenting. Parenting is one of those things that you can never get by chance. It's not one of those things that you chance, okay? It's not one of those things that you want a chance because the probability could end you here or there. Okay, some people would say, oh, okay, this parent was not or was very intentional, and the children turned out, I mean, one of them turned out okay, or two of them turned out okay, and one of them did not turn out okay. So basically, there is no need. What will be, will be. But that's not true. Okay, that's not true. There are so many factors that could be responsible for this, and one of it could be the fact that we're not paying attention to each of these children as individuals. Okay, and then another way to look at it is pretty much this. Okay, if you do not do the right thing, your child could turn out this way or that way. Okay, or your children could all turn out this way. Okay, this way meaning the negative way, and then you get to a point they find a reason at some point in their lives to start unlearning some of the things that they've learned in the past. Okay, and then some of them get back on track, get back on track basically, okay, living exuberant lives or living intentional lives. Now, how are you sure that each of your children is going to unlearn? How are you sure that, I mean, all of them will get to that point where they would unlearn? So you don't want to chance these things. So wouldn't you rather just do the work, put yourself into, working with your children, helping your children, and training them, as the good book says, training them in the way of the Lord. Okay, at least that way you know that you have done your best. Okay, you have done your best, and the truth about it is, these are principles. These are principles. There's a lot of principles that, parenting right is done with a lot of principles, and principles don't lie. They don't lie. If you put in the work, you will see the results. Good afternoon. My name is Marybeth Chima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources, and I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group where we work with young children to help them reach their full potential. Okay, we work with children to help them own their journey and begin to direct themselves. This is what we do at the Mastermind Circle, and the Skill Up Show is a fallout of what we do at the Mastermind Circle. But because we can't give you, I mean, tips and little tips here and there, and never enough, right, to help you on this journey. There is a need for some hand-holding, some accountability, and all of that. But rather than leave you with nothing, we will come and we will share a lot of tips and a lot of guide, in the Skill Up Show for you, okay, so that you can start that journey. And as soon as you need help, or as soon as you recognize the fact that you need help, which you will do, then you can come back and we can walk that journey with you. So welcome to the Skill Up Show. If you are here, don't just be in the background. Say something so I know that I've got company. Okay, if you're watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's a good time to do that. Why don't you just hit that subscribe button and join us on YouTube? so that every time we go live, you receive the notification and you can be a part of the amazing work that we do here and the resources that we put out there to bless parents in their parenting journey. If you're on Facebook, don't be here alone. Tag a friend who needs to be here so that they can join us for this session. Today, we're going to be looking at how we can teach our children to handle relationship, okay, and money issues. Okay, so I wrote in the post earlier on and I said a lot of times as parents, we want to project our fears in our children. Some of us have been beaten, we've had some experiences with family members, with friends, some experiences, bad experiences when it comes to money issues and all of that. At some point you were loaned money, or at some point you loaned someone money, at someone promised this, they promised that, and somehow these loans are no loan, and you didn't take, ended up making a mess of your relationship. And so what do? You begin to project this on your children. Every point, you're constantly telling them, oh, money is evil. Don't bring money issue when you're dealing with family. Don't this. So you come from a disempowering point of view, okay? And a lot of times you leave your children disempowered, okay, around this money and their relationship. When the truth about it is if we knew better, okay, if you knew better in your relationship, okay, if you had better money knowledge about money, okay, if you were more financially aware, okay, if your financial awareness or your financial knowledge was better, then you would know how to deal with these issues, and you would be making choices that would not lead to money being, an issue, or money leading to, a disconnection between you and your siblings, your cousins, or your friends. Okay, so yes, I want you to come to this class with an open mind, okay, knowing that we're not here to say that, we're not here to promote the fact that people have got burnt in their relationship, with their family members or loved ones or friends, because of their disagreements around money. Okay, but money is a very dicey issue. Money is a very, very, very dicey issue, and I think the more knowledge we have around money or about money, and the more we understand how money works and understand how to interact or how to relate with money in our relationship with people, the more we are able to ward off this kind of situation where money becomes the reason for conflict, with your siblings or with your loved ones. All right, so let's move today. We're talking about how you can ensure that money does not come between you and the people that you love. What do you do? What do you do to ensure that is not the case? Okay, I would start by telling you today that a child that is not being taught about money today is put in a disempowering position. If you are not having money conversations with your children, and you are not intentionally teaching your children about money, especially how money works, how to make money, how to manage money, and how to multiply money. If you're not doing that with your children already, you are putting them in a position, right, in a position not to make money, first of all, in a position not to know how to handle money, and in a position where they allow money. Where they allow money come between them and their relationship with other people. So it is the knowledge that you give your children today. It is the knowledge that we share with our children today that will ward off all of these negative things. And when there are challenges, it's the knowledge that they have that will help them stay focused and not, allow their emotions or allow the issues around money to destroy their relationship. I'm sure as a parent, you would not like to think, you would not like to know, and you would not like it to be, you would not like to know that 2 of your children or 3 of your children are having issues and do not even relate to each other, not connected to each other anymore, just because money was an issue. It's an absolute no, isn't it? We've had cases of families where, parents is deceased, and the issue, the estates, right? The family estates and things like that become the issue that comes in between these children. And at the end of the day, everything, their whole relationship and everything nosedives just because of these monetary issues. So as parents, it's something that we don't want to neglect. Okay, you don't want to neglect this, and you want to pay attention to this. Okay, in fact, the more money you have as a parent, okay, the more money you have, the more it should be important to you that your children have financial knowledge. Okay, the more money you have, the more you want to invest into your child's financial education and financial knowledge. Okay, so what I've done, right, what I've done recently, or what I did recently, is I put together a checklist, right? I put together a checklist of 30 questions that you want to ask yourself that will help you know. Okay, 30 questions that you should ask yourself that will help you know how financially knowledgeable your child is. Okay, that's we have a link, right? We have a link, and we have a platform where we're going to be sharing that. We're going to be sharing that. We're waiting for enough people to get into the group. Okay, so it's a group where we're going to share this resource. Okay, the link is right there. We need you to click into that link and join the group so that we can share this resource to you for free. It's a checklist, about 30 questions that you would have to answer one by one concerning each of your children to know where your children are in their financial knowledge. I said at the beginning, if you are not empowering your children, if you are not teaching your children about money, if your children are not getting financial knowledge and awareness, you are doing them a disservice. Why is that so? Look around us, the world over. Everything that we do has some monetary, has some monetary contribution to it. There is something about money that is tied to everything that we do. In pursuing your purpose, let's say that you have a course that you're pursuing, isn't it? You have a course that you're pursuing as a human being. You have, a product that you give as a human being. You have a service that you give as a human being. You have ways through which you impact. I promise you, there is still the need, right, for some financial, there's still the need for some financial obligations, right? There are certain things that will need you, okay, that will need money for you to carry out that purpose effectively. Okay, your purpose is supposed to impact other people, right? Whatever it is that you do is to impact people. Now, if you don't have a means to reach these people, then you are unable to impact them. If you don't have a means for these people to see you, then you are unable to impact them. If you don't have a means for you to go to these people, then you are unable to impact them. In many cases, you need money, you need resources. Okay, you need money, you need resources in cash and in other ways for you to be able to achieve this. So you see why the place of money, or the place of financial, education is very key. How are you going to sustain whatever you are doing? Okay, what can you do to sustain whatever purpose or whatever service or product or whatever means by which you are impacting the world? How are you going to, or what are you going to do, or how are you going to go about sustaining this so that it gets to the hands, or it gets to the people who need it? Okay, most often, as I said, you will need some financial upliftment, you will need some financial input into that thing. So even as people of purpose, people who are impacting other people, you need to create a system, okay, within your purpose where you can sustain whatever you are doing. You need to create a system that will help you make money, that will help you manage money, that will help you multiply money, so that you can continue to reach the people that you want to reach. There are so many people that have so much within them, right? So many people who have solutions, who have solutions, who have so much they can give the world, but they are unable to do this. They are unable to do this because there is no means. So there are so many people that can reach a lot of people out there. They can reach a huge number of people out there, but they are not able to spread their wings, right? They're not able to spread their wings and reach this many people. Why? Because there is the financial limitations, right? There is the financial limitations. So imagine that at the point where you are working that purpose, where you are building stamina to go out there and deliver to the world the value that you have. When you're working to go out there to the world to deliver the value that you carry, while you are doing that, imagine that you're also building yourself, financially. You're also building yourself with financial knowledge. You're also building yourself, and I mean building the value that you have and making yourself valuable enough, right, for you to earn money that will make your work easy. Imagine that during the phase of your life, during your building stage, right? Imagine during your building stage, or the building stage of your purpose. Imagine that as you're building yourself in skill, you're building yourself in financial skill also. And so you know how to take your talents and how to present your talents in a way that is valuable enough for people to pay for that talent, so that you can continue to do the work that you're doing. You can continue to impact the people that you're impacting. Okay, I was sharing with the children who enrolled for our Raising Financially Smart Kids course. We had that course in the last 2 weekends. We just finished having the course, the academic part of the course, last Sunday. Okay, today we're moving on to the practical part of that course. I was talking to the children, and we used Thomas Edison as a case study. Okay, now at the time, Thomas Edison, was taught at home by his mom, isn't it? He was taught. He had very little formal education. Most of the education that he had, he learned to read and write from home. His mother actually taught him to read and write at home. Okay, after that, Thomas Edison built himself up by learning. He said that he read a lot of technical books and he read a lot of scientific books. He read a lot, and then of course he got interested in the telegraph company and all of that. It was said that he taught himself how to use the telegraph, and then he grew from age 14. By the time Thomas Edison was 14, he had started doing business. He would go and he would distribute. He was the delivery guy for newspapers, right? So he would go and then he would distribute new newspapers, and then of course he was also selling candies and all of that. He was only 14. By the time he was 16, he was so proficient with the telegraph that he could work in the company. What happened there? That is someone that was building skills, but he did not close his eyes to the commercial part of that skill. He did not close his eyes to the financial knowledge, building or learning, okay, or getting financially aware. So as Thomas Edison was building himself in skills, he was reading a lot of resources. He was building himself in the area of his interest. He was also learning how to make money. He was learning how to multiply money. Okay, and what happened? At some point, he moved from doing all of that telegraph thing, and he became an inventor, isn't it? It was said that the first invention that he had, or he made, the first invention, the first product that he had patent for, was to create create a machine that helps, in the electoral process, right? Voting and all of that. It wasn't a commercial hit. So at the end of that, after that, what did he say to himself? He said to himself, I'm never going to produce anything that is not beneficial to the public. Okay? That is not beneficial to the public. So yes, while he was building skills, he was an inventor, isn't it? He was an inventor, meaning he was some scientific kind of person, inventing things that will make the world better. But no, he did not separate this from financial knowledge. So you see why it's important. Okay, it's important that your children have financial knowledge. So that being said, okay, you have a child now who is financially knowledgeable. Okay, you have 3 children, and you are building each of these 3 children to be financially knowledgeable. Okay, of course, because they are financially knowledgeable, they are applying this in every aspect of their lives. They are applying this even in their relationship with their friends. Okay, they are applying this in every aspect of their lives. Now, what principles, what rules do you need to add to this to help your children manage their relationships, especially when financial issues come in? Okay, how do you teach them, or how do you prepare them, right, to know how to balance or how to manage their relationship, okay, and their relationships with their friends and their loved ones, okay, in relation to finances. Very, very important, because as we know, okay, as we know, money issues will always be a part of our lives. So in our relationships with our parents, with our loved ones, with our siblings, with our friends, money will come in the way. I mean, not money, money will not come in the way. Money will be a part of it, okay, at some point or the other. So how do we begin to teach our children how to understand money and how to ensure that money does not cause a barrier in their relationship? Okay, number one, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips as usual. That's what I do in the mastermind. I'm sorry, in the Skill Up Show. I try to maximize the time that we have. Skill Up Show is supposed to be a short show, 30 minutes. Sometimes we drag it to about 1 hour, but it's supposed to be a short show. All right. So the first thing you want to do is, or the first thing you should understand as a parent is your children will learn their money habits and how this affects their relationship from you. Okay. So what are you modeling to your children? We can't talk financial knowledge at any point without talking about what you do as a parent, what you believe in, what financial mindset you have, and how that impacts your life, or how you show that in your everyday life. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. How that shows up in your everyday life. Your understanding and your financial mindset is going to be evident in the way you live your life, okay, and in the financial decisions that you make as a parent. So know this, that your children are constantly learning in 3 dimensions. Okay, your children are constantly learning in 3 dimensions. One dimension is academic learning. Okay, so they are going to have some lessons about finances. They're going to have some lessons about money here and there from school. Okay, they're going to have financial lessons here and there from the books that they read. So that's why we say to you at every point, ensure that you're raising children who love and enjoy reading. Reading is a skill for, reading is a life skill. Okay, the love for reading is a life skill. If you're going to raise children who are lifelong learners, then you should raise them to be lovers of books. Very, very key. Okay, so they will get one dimension of learning through the books that they read. Okay, through the books that they read, through the knowledge that they get through courses, it will be mentioned in school here and there. So it depends on how you embrace this as a parent. Okay, it depends on how you embrace this as a parent. So if you're a parent that is intentional about financial knowledge, and of course you're intentional about making your children people who appreciate books, then at some point you will be sharing books with them about financial knowledge. Okay, the children in the mastermind have been reading Rules of Money. Okay, they read for the month of May, they read Rules of Money. Rules of Money, an amazing book. Let me show you. So that's Rules of Money, an amazing book by Richard Templar. Okay, my 10, 12, 13-year-olds in the senior category of the mastermind read this book last month, May. So the whole of, yesterday, during our meeting yesterday, you should see these 12, 13, 14-year-olds dissecting this book. They had a review on this book. I tell you, I couldn't be prouder as a matron. I sat down there. It wasn't my meeting, it's their meeting. Okay, I sat down there. They anchored the meeting. They had their conversations. They talked. I was sitting down there smiling, just appreciative of the fact that we have brought young children to the point where they are discussing things like this and not just discussing games and all the superficial things that children talk about. These children are already discussing deep issues like this, having conversation, building their mindset, right? Building their mindset, having conversations, right? Equipping their equipping their subconscious mind, right, on what to think about money and how to think about money. And really, as I was saying at the beginning, this is the most important part of the knowledge, okay? Financial knowledge, how you equip them, the programming, the mindset, the ideology, what you are helping them learn to believe about money as early as possible. Okay, so if you're a parent who understands this, then you have been able to raise a reader, all right? You've been able to raise a child who enjoys reading. By the time your children are 10, 11, and 12, okay, by the time they cross 10, you're able to introduce books like this that will empower them more. Okay, that's them getting academic knowledge about these things. I remember it was when our son was in year 7, he was about 11. That's when he and I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay, on our way to school, as we drive to school, I would drive and then he would read, and then we would discuss it. The days that his father takes him to school, because it was a rule. I mean, sorry, it was what do you call it now? Because it was a tradition that we had already, that we read it. So even when it is dad that's taking him to school, he will still go to the chapter where we were, and then he will read probably a half chapter, a full page, sorry, or a part of the chapter, and then he and his dad will have that conversation. That's how we read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then there are many other books, that Rules of Money. There are many other, Rules of Money. There are many other books that we've read together. Business Secret from the Bible. Psychology of Money, okay, and the mindsets, fixed mindset. So all of these are books that I'm able to introduce to my 13-year-old because he is a book lover, okay, because he enjoys reading. So I'm able to expand, okay, I'm able to expand his knowledge through books because he already is someone who loves to read. All right. So the knowledge they have is going to be a lot from, what you believe in, what you believe in, what you think is important, and how intentional you are about this. So very, very key. So that's it. They will have knowledge from intellectual, academic knowledge of these things. Okay. Then there is the knowledge that they will get directly from you. Life lessons, life experiences. That's the second dimension of learning. They will get that from you. What are you doing as a parent? What do you do? What financial decisions do you take? How do you interact with money? How do you interact with money? What decisions do you make around money? What conflict? How do you resolve your conflict with your spouse, with your partner? How do you resolve conflict in your home? Even with them, when they ask you for money or they come with requests that borders around money, how do you react? Okay, all of this your children are going to learn firsthand from you, and they're going to use that in their own relationship. Okay, they're going to use that in their own relationship with other people when it comes to money. All right, so they're going to use that in their relationship with their siblings, in their relationship with their friends, in their relationship with their spouse in the future when it comes to money. So know that how your children will relate in their relationship with money issues is going to come first from what they see you do and how you have done that over the years. Okay, the last dimension of learning, of course, is inspiration. The Holy Spirit will drop wisdom in your heart and all of that. So first of all, as I said, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you understand that your children are getting their financial knowledge firsthand, their financial experiences firsthand, their financial ideology firsthand from you. All right, they're getting it firsthand from you. And so how they relate with their friends and how they relate with their siblings when it comes to money issues in their relationship is going to resemble how you relate with your spouse, how you relate with them, and how you relate with other people in this issue. So you need to pay attention to that. Okay. All right. So as I said, the second one, I said your children will learn about money in 3 dimensions. They're going to learn it, through schoolwork. They're going to learn it, through books and academic, pursuits, and then, of course, through life experiences. So what are you teaching them? What are the people around them teaching them around money? Okay, the people who have access to them, what are they teaching them about money? It's going to inform your child's money knowledge and how they relate to people. All right, so as parents, it is our responsibility to make sure that we help our children foster great relationships between themselves. Okay, so it's your relation, it's very important that you foster a good relationship between your children. Sometimes we don't pay attention to this as parents, and we allow our children wing this, or we just assume that our children will become naturally best of friends, or our children would be inclined to one another simply because they have blood relationships. And so as a result, we take the small conflicts they have here and there, the constant, the constant conflict, the constant back and forth that they have at home. All right, we take them for granted because we do not know that these are the building blocks to the kind of relationship that they will have as teenagers and the kind of relationship they will have as young adults and as adults eventually. So the relationship that your children will have at 20 is going to be built from the relationship that they have at age age 4. So if your children are constantly on each other's throat, your children are constantly putting each other down, your children are constantly fighting, there is never a moment of fun and hugging and loving amongst your children, you have a problem in your hand already. It is your responsibility as a parent to ensure that you foster a healthy relationship between your children. Okay, within that healthy relationship that you foster for between your children is how you help your children build financial relationship, or that will help them, handle their relationship when finances come between them. All right. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you foster a good relationship between them. Now, there are some of the things that we do in our home, right? There's some of the things we do in our homes as parents that actually pull our children apart without us even knowing that this is what we are doing. Okay, some of the things we do pull them apart. Some of the ways we handle the things, in our home, some of the decisions that we make, and some of the practices that we have in our home are some of the reasons why our children's relationship are as skewed or as divided as it is, as opposed to them being connected. So these things we need to pay attention to, okay, if we want to raise children who are connected enough for money and things like that not to come in and put asunder between them. Okay, so it is the kind of relationship, the kind of bond, the kind of connection that they have first or naturally that will help them handle financial situations, or will help them, go above any asunder or any hindrance that the financial situation can cause between them. So when they are close enough, when they are connected enough, then financial issues will not cause rifts between your children. That's what I've been trying to say. Now, how can we foster that? Number one, you want to help your children build a relationship where they volunteer to do things for each other. All right. Now, things like that is not always what we sit down and talk about. That's a mistake that we make as parents. We think that everything should be talked about, in a lecture way. Okay, so we sit down there. You guys, you need to be close. Let me tell you, it is only the two of you, or it's the only four of you that you have. Nobody will be. No. We create experiences in our home. Okay, we create experiences in our home. We create systems in our home. We create culture in our home that help this relationship to happen even without us talking about it too much. Okay, that's what is important. So helping them volunteer for each other is one of the ways that you help your children begin to connect. It's one of the ways that you help your children get to the point that money is never an issue between them. So when you get your children to eat, okay, and these things can start with you, okay, create a system in your home where you have some meals together. Okay, you can decide that you will have dinner together every day. If that's not possible, you can decide that dinner during the weekend is done together. If that's not possible, decide that dinner on a particular day, probably Sunday, or one meal, 2 meals, 3 meals, however, based on your family dynamics, whatever works. Okay, have a situation where you can have that. Okay, and now after such gathering, okay, start with yourself. Be the one to say, okay, something, guys, okay, I'm volunteering, I'm going to wash the plates for everyone today, okay, or I'm volunteering, I'm going to clean the table, okay, so who's going to do the dishes? Get a system like that where it's easy for you guys to volunteer, to do things for each other. When you volunteer to do small things for each other, and it's a normal practice in your home, this is how your children learn to volunteer to do things for each other. And you realize that children who volunteer to do things for each other, without expecting anything, okay, they actually grow closer and they bond more. Okay, so you want to introduce that kind of system in your home where you volunteer to do things for each other. Another thing that you can do is you can create a system in your home where all the problems, all the issues that anyone has in your home is settled as a unit. Okay, so for instance, create that system, and systems are created. It's parents who will create systems in their home. We as parents were the ones that will create the systems in our home, and these systems can be created. Hi Chinima, how are you doing? Hi Facebook users, I can see a number of you dropping your comments, but because I can't see your name, I don't know who's dropping the comments. So thank you for joining and thank you for commenting. Okay, so as I was saying, it is a system that you put in place in your home that will foster a good relationship between your children. It's not all the, I'm telling you, you guys are only 3. You have to be close. So it's all that you have. Each other is all that talk does not do the work. Okay. The talk doesn't do the work. The talk doesn't do the work. It doesn't get you the results. It is the systems that you create in your home that helps you live this example, that helps you practice these things that will cause the bond that you are looking for. And I started by saying, help your children volunteer, okay, to do things for one another. Okay, I said you can have meals. I mean, in my home, we have meals together every evening. Okay, now daddy is not always around for those evening meals. Okay, he's not always around because sometimes he comes in after we are done. But we have these meals. I have these meals with the children every day. Daddy would join us during the weekend, and then we have Sunday extravaganza. That's how we call it. We have it on Sunday, where everybody knows if you're in our home, you must be a part of that on Sunday. And daddy actually cooks. He cooks with the children on that particular day. So have systems like that in your home that foster, bonding. And then during that kind of gathering, you can start by saying, I volunteer. As I said, I volunteer. I'm going to wash the plates for everybody today. Who's going to do something else? So that way you are bringing them into that space where your children can also volunteer that way to do things for each other. It's not just for the now. It's also for the future. I'll tell you how things like this come up in the future. Okay, Chinba, what did you say? I have moved from being scared of them turning the stove, okay, to avoid accidents, but now it's now such. Well done, well done. All right, so the next one you want to do is, as I said, you want to, what did I say now in the next one? The next one I said, I was talking about, I talked about volunteer. What was the next thing? Okay, let me just jump. I'll get back to that. Volunteering. Okay, system where you solve problems together. Yes. So create a system in your home where you solve problems together. So one of your kids goes to school and then he has this problem with his friend. Okay, after school, you've picked them. What happened in school today and all of that. Oh, okay, let's talk about it at home. We'll solve it together as a family. All right, so create a system like that where maybe during that dinner time, okay, we can talk about what happened and all of that. So you profile solutions together as a family. Okay, so you profile solutions together as a family. All right, so you always exemplify these things first. Remember, you are a mentor mom, you are a mentor father. I don't call myself mentor mom for nothing. I call myself this because I take the lead in modeling the things that are acceptable, in modeling the right thing, the right habits, the right behavior, the right ways to do things to the children. Very important. All right, so always go first. I mean, just come in and say to them, oh, this happened today and all of that. I'm just thinking, I'm wondering what I'm going to do about it. What do you think? And then they begin to profile solutions, like that. And then the next time someone has an issue like that, he brings it and then you profile solutions together. Do it in a way that judgment is not part of, it's not part of you guys, right? You're looking at everybody's challenges, their issue, and you're helping them. If you have to tell them, no, you're the one that is wrong there, the person actually wasn't wrong, you need to apologize. Do that. Solve your problems together. When you solve your problems together, you are setting the stage for your children to see each other's problem as belonging to everyone. Okay, you are setting the stage for your children to have financial issues when they have financial issues in the future. Your 3 children are able to sit down and look for solutions to their financial issues, to one person's financial issues together. Why is that? Because you already set the foundation in your home for your children. Yes, teamwork. So make your children be a think tank at all times. Let them understand and see themselves as a team at all times. Okay, When they do this, you realize that you have fostered a close bond between your children. You will find that when they have issues with their friends, they will come and they will solve the issues together. When they have conflicts with people, they will come, they will solve the issues together. When they even grow up, they grow older and they begin to have relationships and, begin to pick spouses, you realize they can still sit down and they can still proffer solutions for each other because they see one person's problem as everybody's problem. But if you do not create the foundation for this kind of relationship at home, you can't just wing it and think that your children will just become automatically close to each other. Okay, it's better you put in, or you set the stage for this kind of relationship, and you will be able to achieve this kind of relationship. All right, now there's another thing that we do as parents that we need to pay attention to. You see that thing where you go into the kitchen, when you go there, you see yellow cup, blue cup, green cup, pink cup. This one is for Anna, the other one is for Joseph, the other one is for Tunde, the other one is for, so everybody has their own thing. So you find out that your children are constantly bickering. Who touched my this? Who touched my that? Who touched my this? I mean, I am not saying that children should not learn boundaries, okay? But do we need to take the boundaries down to fork and spoon and cup and knife, okay? Let them learn boundaries when it comes to their clothes. Let them learn boundaries when it comes to their things, their room and things like that. Let them learn to knock on each other's door before they get in. Let them learn those things. But you see, there are certain things that you should teach your children, that it belongs to all of us. Your children need to feel that certain things belong to us. Some of us have marked everything in our home. In fact, even in the car where they sit, they each have their space. Oh, that's my space you are sitting in. That's my space. So you are the one that is causing the constant bickering between your children because you have created too many barriers, too many boundaries. The same you will not come and say the school is creating 16, 17 subjects for your children to do is too many. When you have created 120 boundaries in your home, whose lane is this, that lane is your own, this lane is your own, this is your spot to sit down. That's no. So as much as possible, we want to create a homogeneous, right? It's homogeneous, right? So you want to create some homogeneous, setting in your home where your children can live together, right, and not feel the dichotomy or are not constantly drawing lines where it's, I said, you understand? Allow them understand boundaries, your room, your clothes, your books, things like that. Let them understand those boundaries. Let them be able to ask for each other's item, okay, ask for it, not before coming into the bathroom. Okay, that's yes. So let them understand, those subtle boundaries, right? This is my thing, ask for it before you use it and all that. We don't have to drag it into everything. So how about having a homogeneous plates, cutlery in your home where anybody can pick anyone, use and wash it, and it's my own, it's your own, and all of that. This is how we introduce dichotomy really very early in their lives. Okay, we start those dichotomy right from when they are 6 months and 8 months and 1 year. So your 1-year-old has his own, your 2-month-old new baby has his own, your 3-year-old baby has his own. So even as toddlers, they are constantly, hey, my own, and all of that. So sometimes you want to create that homogeneous system in your home where your children learn to live together, do together, be together. That way you're fostering a closer bond between them. Okay, that's it. Now, number 4, another thing you want to do is and this is going to help, very much as they grow older, especially when certain stringent rules begins to come in. Okay, financial rules. Remember, I started by saying, if you're going to if you're going to raise children, yes, if you're going to raise children who will not allow money and things like that come and make a mess of their relationship. Okay, if you're going to do that, then it's going to be by, first of all, ensuring that your children have good financial knowledge, ensuring that your children are financially sound. Okay, so you will start from there. And then, of course, the way you raise them to live together, how you foster connection between them. These are two areas that are going to help in how your children deal with their financial issues, okay, and not allow this to come between them in their relationship. Why am I saying this? I've been talking a lot about financial knowledge in the last 1 month. In the whole of June, I'm going to be talking about financial knowledge again for children because it is very important. It is very key. We take this for granted, but we are shooting ourselves and shooting our children if we are not being intentional about their financial knowledge. At the beginning, I also talked about a free download that I created. Okay, I created a checklist, 30 questions that you should ask yourself concerning every one of your children, okay? And then you're able to see how much work you have done with them where their financial knowledge is concerned and how knowledgeable they are. At the end of this video, just check in the comment, you will see it, click it and join the group and wait for me to drop it when we have enough people in there today or tomorrow. Very, very key. All right, so we don't pay attention to these things. All right, so another thing you want to do is you want to introduce early in your home. You want to introduce early pooling money together in your home. Okay, introduce a pooling system in your home. Now, we have been preaching that parents should give their children some small allowance, okay? Give your children some small allowance. Call it your compulsory allowance that you give to your children. Now, why is this allowance important? It's because you understand that financial awareness is very key. And that you understand that children are actually building their financial or their money personality, okay? How they relate to money. If your children are not interacting with money, you will not know their money habits. You will not know their money personality. You cannot tell whether your child is a waster. You cannot tell whether your child is meticulous. You cannot tell whether your child is that one that would keep his money, hide it, and not allow anybody touch it, but he wants to eat every other person's own. You cannot tell whether your child is a spontaneous buyer. Okay, you cannot tell how spontaneous your child is with money. You can't tell all of these things until you get them to start interacting with money. So when they don't own money, you don't know their real money habits or money personalities. You don't know. Okay, you don't know until you get them to handle money. Now you would think that one of your kids is very wasteful. Oh, he's always eating up everything. Give him his money and see. You will give him his money and you realize that the day that he buys something with his own money, that is when he begins to pinch. He's not wasteful anymore. Then you will see that this kind of a child is actually a really very self-centered person. So when it's another person's own, let's bring it to the ground. But when it's my own, nobody touch it. So, but until you get your children to start expressing themselves, you know, through their interaction with money, you do not know their money personalities. So that's why we say give them some bonus and then go shopping together. Let them create their budgets. All right. So sometimes the bonus you give them may not be enough. Then we said the rule of first mention is that most of everything that your children are going to encounter in life, ensure that you create simulation at home. Create something that looks like, you know, what they will see in real life. Simulate it in your home. Create something that looks at it like it at home, so that your children have the first mention of it in your home. Let your children learn from your home first. That's the same thing that they do to pilots, okay? Before pilots mount a plane and fly the plane, they don't just, from pilot school, from the beginning, they just put you on a plane and they begin to show you and they say, oh, I fly the plane. No, they do a lot of simulation for them. They create the near aircraft situation, right, for them in a simulation center or something like that. Remember, my younger sister used to be an air hostess at the time. I remember they had to go to Germany at some point. You know, they did all that simulation. They would put you in some machine or something that seems like an aircraft, and they will simulate you for a crash. Okay, they will put you into a situation. Like what an air crash looks like. They put you through that. So all of these pilots that you see, they must have gone through all that simulation. They put you in a real situation like your plane is about to crash. They make you go to the right goal of what it will look like and all of that. This is what we are all supposed to be doing for our children. We're supposed to be putting them through real life situation. The law of first mention. Let it be mentioned first at home. Okay, so simulate some of these things at home. Role play some of these things at home. Introduce some of these things at home so that you have firsthand how your children relate to these things. Then you know how much life lessons your children have and how your children would do without you. A lot of times we just launch our children out without even knowing how well our children would do. Okay, so it's very important that you're doing this. So even in their financial knowledge and how they handle money, you want to do a lot of simulation in your home. All right, so it's not enough to just drag them with you to the market, to the supermarket or to the open market, and then the price you pay and all of that. Let them handle money in their hands. Let them make some money decisions also. Okay, so the children in the mastermind they spent the whole of May learning about money and all of that. At some point, they had to apply to their parents for jobs in their homes where they can get what we call hybrid allowance. Now, your hybrid allowance or hybrid bonuses are the things creating jobs in your home where your children can do certain jobs in your home that you will pay them for. Okay, teach them what it means like to apply for a job, go for an interview for the job, let them argue their pay. Okay, I wrote a post a few days ago and I talked about how my son has decided to take the job of washing his father's car on Saturdays. Inside, outside, my husband cleans his car like, I don't know how many people can clean his car like he does. Okay, so our son wants to venture into his shoes to be able to do it as well as his father can, because nobody around, even the security men who clean it can do it that way. So our son wants to dare to do that, and his father told him he was going to pay him 200 naira every time he does one. And he's like, no way, not 200. So he argued his cause. He argued 200 is too small, daddy, and all that. Then they've reached up to 1,000 naira. Now the father is saying, do the first wash the first time. If you do it exceptionally well, then I am willing to pay 500 naira. Our son is arguing for 1,000. His father is saying, if you do it well, I'll pay. So put your children in that space where they can begin to what? Where they can begin to argue their cause, where they can begin to, what's the word now? They argue their cause. What's the real word for it now? What's the real word for it? They can bargain or whatever it is, So put them in that position. All right. Simulate your children at home. Simulate your children for reality at home. All right. Very, very key. All right. So put them in that situation. Now when they make this money, create a pool in your home where everybody drops something. Okay. Create a pool in your home where everybody drops some amount from what they are earning. So that's why it's important that your children are earning. All right. So it could be a percentage, right? It could be a percentage that you want to put. So daddy can decide to put 5 or 2,000 or 3,000 into that pool. Mommy is putting 5 or 2 or 3,000 into that pool. Your son is putting 1,000. Everybody is putting, a percentage, some amount into that pool that is agreed. Now, every time anybody needs to borrow money, anybody needs, some extra support for something, let them borrow from the pool. Okay, let them borrow from the pool. Okay, so that's where you're teaching your children something. All right, you will find that even when you are not there, or even as they grow older, you can maintain that pool. The pool will move from just the 2K, 3K, and all of that. As your children become 16 and 18 and 20, they begin to they begin to run their own businesses and they have jobs. That pool will continue because it's part of your family tradition. So you continue to have that pool. And so you realize when one of them wants to start a business or one of them has some financial, challenge, it's easy to go to that pool and learn from the family pool. It's easy to go to the pool and then you can have other rules around the pool. Okay. You can have rules around the pool, but then again, it's a pool, it's a family pool. All right. So this is to mitigate, against things like borrowing money or lending money to a sibling, or lending money, to someone, and it becomes a problem because, yeah, I lent, you refuse to give it back and all of that, right? In the rules of money, okay, rule 90 actually says that you shouldn't lend money to friends and family. Don't borrow. I mean, it says borrowing from friends and family is a bad habit, okay? It's a bad habit, and usually, if it's not managed well, it can actually lead to conflict and emotional conflict and damage in your relationships. Okay, now you can do something like this basically, so that you have a pool, and the pool becomes what we fall back on, in times of our financial need. That's way nobody feels spited, or nobody feels, oh, he's owing too much, he's owing me and all of that. No, have a pool as a family. That's one. Now remember, yeah, you taught your children to volunteer early in life. You taught them to volunteer for each other early in life. Also remember that you had a system in your home that taught your children to solve their problems together. Now when you have that, you will find out one of your children has a problem or has a challenge that needs 50 million. In the family pool, there's only 30 million. And you can take from that family pool and give the person, say, 25 million. It's very easy for his brother to say, hey, sweetie, say about his sister to say, something, sweetie, I'm going to give you another 5 million. Why is that so? Because they have built a relationship over the years where they can support each other, where they solve their problems together, where they see one person's problem as the other person's problem. So it's easy for your children to come through for each other like this, because you started the foundation for that kind of relationship when they were 2 and 3 and 4 and 8 and 10. That's what we are talking about. Remember, volunteering, you taught them to volunteer for each other. So it's easy for one of them to come and say, something, sweetie, I stand for you. I will do this for you. I'll do that for you. I'll give you this. I'll give you. So it's very easy that your children do this, because something, it is normal. It is normal. Okay. It's not them feeling bad and all of that. But remember, the family pool is there, first of all, to fall back to. So that's why it's important, So these are ways that you can ensure that you put things in place from the beginning. You put things in place for your children to build their relationship, even while they are building their financial knowledge, in a way that one does not undermine the other. Okay? Very, very key. So offer them. Now, because you're doing this, also teach your children. Because you're doing this, teach your children to venture into businesses. Teach your children to venture into things early. When they do that, let them start from the beginning. For instance, our son runs a juice company. Now, what you can do is, when his younger sibling comes of age that you understand what is going there, you can help them. You can teach them to offer them shares in their companies. Okay, offer your siblings shares, and then let them offer to invest in each other's company. Okay, so it's your company, it's my company, but hey, my son can decide to invest. Okay, mommy, I want to invest, I want to invest 200,000 in your company. Okay, so how much profits are you going to share with me at the end of the year? Foster this kind of relationship with your children. Let your children learn to, give equity. Do you understand? Let your children learn to invest in each other. Okay, and let them learn, right, to invest in each other, and to keep, teach them to do this, invest, and then have clear terms. Let them have clear terms on how, that investment will go, and how the person will get dividend from their investment. Very, very key. Teach your children to do life together, right? Teach them to do life together. Teach them to respect terms. Teach them to do this early in life. When you do this, you're going to mitigate, against all of the drama that you see come up. Okay, teach your children to run to each other first before they run to anybody else. Teach them to run to each other first. So when you're able to foster relationships like these, you teach them equity, you teach them investing in each other's businesses, you teach them to support each other, you teach them to share, you teach them to pool, together and all of that. When you do that, you realize that when your children have financial issues, they will run to each other first before they begin to go to other people and get into, a mess, and all of that. So Very, very key. Now, let's take this to friendship. Okay, let's just talk about friendship a bit. Now, if you're an intentional parent, then one of the things you're teaching your children is how to identify the kind of people that they bring into their inner circle of friends. So, if you're not teaching your children anything, teach them. Okay, if you're not teaching them anything after you've taught them about, family and all of that, because family comes first over everything. The next thing you want to teach them is how to pick their friends, because your friends are your family are your family are people that have been chosen by God to be your family, right? So your friends are the family that you choose for yourself. So friendship is really very important. Let's not ever get it twisted. So don't go telling your children, oh, friends will do this. Don't do that. Okay, friendship. If, as I've said, I started this call by saying, I know that some of us have been beaten. Some of you have been beaten, in your relationships. You've been beaten in your friendships. You've made mistakes yourself. Other people have made mistakes. It doesn't matter. Do not project this in the life of your children. So please don't come and live an extension of your life in your children by telling them, oh, mind your friends, friends can be this right. Because the thing is, if you knew better, you would do better with those relationships that you had that went bad because of one thing or the other, especially when it has to do with finances. So take it, be responsible. Take it as your responsibility. That the reason that I had conflict with my friend because of financial issues, it's because I didn't have enough knowledge and I was not financially smart enough. Take it as your responsibility. It doesn't matter what happens. The moment you can take responsibility, then you will not project it on your children. Okay, when you do that, so then you can you can teach your children how to build the right kind of, relationships. So number one thing you want to teach your children, don't ever into their inner. Sorry about that. So if a person does not share the same value as you don't share the same kind of values, please, you cannot admit people like that into your inner circle. A lot of times, because we don't have these conversations, nobody taught us these things and all of that. You find us getting into very close relationship with people that are really very different from us. Okay, our values, the things that are important to us, the things that we hold there are really very different. So what happens is, because of how awkward each of your personality is, or each of your values, more like, not personality, okay, because of how awkward, how different your values are, they will clash at some point in life. So what you want to do is teach them about their values, let them know who they are, okay, and let their relationship and people in their inner circle be based on the fact that they share these common values. Okay, yes, let them do that. Then also teach them to build a circle of friends, as opposed to having just one friend that is everything. Your circle of friends, think of it like, the paralytic man, okay, that had his friend break the roof, right, to bring him to Jesus, for Jesus to heal him. So let him build a circle of friends who are ready to break the roof for him. Let them build circle of friends. Let them be a part of a circle that is ready to break roof for each other. So teach your children, by the time they are 10, 11, 12, 13, let them start building circles like that. Let them start identifying not just one person, 2, 3 people that they can build a circle like that with, okay, that can go all the way for you. And when you build a circle like that, you can begin to do the same thing that you apply at home. Begin to learn, they can learn to pull together, okay, they can learn to be there to make sacrifices for each other, so that when they get into financial issues, they are not borrowing from each other, they are supporting each other. Okay, rules of money says, Rule 100 says that it is bad habit to borrow money from friends and family. Okay, you should have a relationship where you can support each other, okay? Or you can support and guide each other to borrow money from the right quarter. But what I'm saying, you can have a relationship where if you have, you're willing to support each other, okay? Or you have a system where you pool money and it's easy to take from that pool and support each other, so that you don't get into conflicts where one is loaned money to the other, it becomes an issue, it gets, we don't want. So we have come to realize that it doesn't do well for relationships, especially when those relationships are not, the connection is not enough, the connection is not deep enough to withstand financial conflicts or conflicts like this. Okay, because we're talking about financial conflicts today, so let's stick to financial conflicts. All right, so it's in the relationship, how you built that relationship over the years and how solid that relationship is. That's what will help you to weather whatever turbulence that finances or things like that can bring in. So help your children learn how to foster the right kind of relationship between them and the people in their inner circle, and between them and their siblings. Thank you very much. I hope this drove the message in. I hope you got value from this session. It's already 1 hour and I don't want to take it beyond this, but I hope you got the message from this session. If you have not clicked the link to join the group to get this free download, go ahead and do so, and you will get your copy very, very soon, so that you can do that checklist and see where your child is, and then you know that there is work to be done. We're here for the long haul. We want to ensure that by the end of this month, you have started raising a child that is financially empowered. Okay, the children who have just been with us, okay, who are still with us actually in the Raising Financially Smart Kids course, are like this. They've been shaking, and they are on that financial journey, like seriously already. That course was 7,500 naira, and so we know some people were not able to take it. But hey, go ahead and use this checklist, okay, and then we can take it from there. Have a fantastic rest of the day. So thank you for joining me. My name is Marybeth Chima, and I'm signing out. Thank you. Have a fantastic rest of the day. I can't see any question. If you have any, just put it in the comments and I will respond. Apart from that, it's bye for now. Bye.